There comes a moment in life when you realize that the person you have been is not the person you are meant to be. You feel the weight of unfulfilled potential, the sting of past failures, and the frustration of knowing deep inside that you are capable of so much more. But here's the harsh truth. The weak version of yourself will not die on its own. It must be confronted, challenged, and ultimately destroyed. This is not a call to self-hatred. It is a call to transformation. The weak self is deceptive. It lulls you into comfort, convinces you to delay your dreams, and whispers that you have more time than you actually do. It tells you that tomorrow is always an option, that waiting until you feel ready is the right move. But Stoic wisdom makes it clear, tomorrow is never guaranteed. Marcus Aurelius put it bluntly, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Every second wasted in hesitation is a second stolen from the strongest version of yourself. This video is not just about motivation, it's about action. It is about embracing the Stoic principles that will allow you to break free from mediocrity and step fully into your power. You have a choice. Either continue as you are, making excuses, avoiding discomfort, and letting time slip through your fingers, or you can rise. Rise above self-doubt, rise above fear, rise above the excuses that have held you back for far too long. The Stoics teach us that our greatest power lies in our ability to control our minds and master our actions. This is not about circumstances, luck, or external forces. This is about you. The time for waiting is over, the time for action is now. Chapter 1. The weak version of you must die. Most people drift through life, unaware of the potential they hold within them. They settle into routines, chase fleeting pleasures, and avoid discomfort at all costs. This creates a version of the self that is weak, passive, and ruled by fear. The weak self clings to comfort, makes excuses, and constantly postpones action. It convinces you that someday is an option when, in reality, someday is a lie. The Stoics knew that this version of the self is the greatest enemy one must conquer. Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." The weak self is afraid of truly living. It is afraid of risk, responsibility, and the effort required to grow into something greater. This is why it must die. To kill your weak self, you must recognize it for what it is, a set of habits, thought patterns, and behaviors that serve only to limit you. Every time you choose instant gratification over long-term growth, you are feeding the weak self. Every time you avoid a challenge, procrastinate, or give in to doubt, you are strengthening it. But the good news is this: you can change. You can dismantle the weak version of yourself piece by piece and replace it with the strongest, most disciplined, and most powerful version of you. This process is not easy. It requires daily commitment and an unbreakable mindset. The Stoics embraced hardship as a tool for growth. Seneca practiced voluntary discomfort, sleeping on the floor and wearing simple clothing to remind himself of his own resilience. Epictetus taught that true strength comes from within, from controlling our perceptions and refusing to be enslaved by external circumstances. Killing your weak self is not about sudden dramatic change. It is about consistent, deliberate action. It is about proving to yourself day after day that you are in control. It is about stepping into the discomfort, embracing the challenge, and refusing to settle for mediocrity. Now ask yourself, who do you want to be? The person who watches life pass by, making excuses and waiting for the perfect moment? Or the person who takes control, who acts decisively, and who refuses to let weakness define them? The choice is yours. The time is now. Step up and take action. Kill the weak version of yourself and start living the life you were meant to live. Chapter 2. Recognizing the enemy within. Before you can defeat the weak version of yourself, you must first learn to recognize it. The weak self is not always obvious. It hides in the small, seemingly harmless choices we make every day. It manifests in procrastination, in seeking easy pleasures, in avoiding responsibilities. It thrives in moments when we give in to self-doubt, when we let fear dictate our actions, and when we settle for comfort instead of growth. The weak self doesn't shout, it whispers. It tells you that it's okay to skip today's workout because you'll do it tomorrow. It convinces you that you're not ready to start that project, that you need more time. It makes excuses for why you haven't pursued the life you truly want. The Stoics were deeply aware of this inner battle. They believed that a person must always be on guard against self-deception. Epictetus taught that we are not disturbed by things themselves, but by the opinions we form about them. This means that the weak self only has power over you if you allow it. It is built upon illusions, the illusion that you are not capable, that you need permission to act, that you must wait for the perfect conditions. Recognizing this deception is the first step toward liberation. But awareness alone is not enough. You must take responsibility for your choices. Seneca warned against wasting time, reminding us that while we are postponing, life speeds by. The moment you recognize weakness in yourself, you have a decision to make. Will you continue down the path of least resistance, or will you choose to confront your limitations? A warrior does not turn away from battle. A Stoic does not surrender to excuses. If you truly want to kill the weak version of yourself, you must be relentless in your pursuit of self-discipline. One of the most effective ways to recognize your weak self is to audit your daily habits. Where are you giving in to comfort? Where are you avoiding responsibility? What excuses do you tell yourself? Keep a journal, track your decisions, and be brutally honest with yourself. Self-deception is the greatest enemy of growth. If you refuse to see your weaknesses, you will never be able to overcome them. The good news? Once you learn to recognize your weak self, you also gain the power to destroy it. Every time you make a disciplined choice, every time you push beyond your perceived limits, you weaken the grip of the lesser version of yourself. The battle is fought in the small moments. When you decide to wake up early instead of hitting snooze, when you choose to take action despite fear, when you reject excuses and commit to progress. The enemy within is strong, but you are stronger. Recognize it, face it, and take the first step toward conquering it. Chapter 3. Building the Unbreakable Stoic Mindset. The key to overcoming the weak version of yourself is developing a mindset that is unshakable, resilient, and rooted in discipline. The Stoics understood that the mind is the battlefield where all personal victories and defeats take place. If your mind is weak, your actions will follow. If your mind is strong, nothing can deter you. The Stoic mindset is about mastering your perceptions, controlling your desires, and responding to life's challenges with unwavering resolve. This is not something you achieve overnight, but through relentless practice, day after day. The first step to building this mindset is embracing voluntary discomfort. Seneca advised practicing poverty to remind oneself that material luxuries are not necessities. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that we must train ourselves to endure hardship without complaint. True strength is built through adversity, not avoided by seeking comfort. The moment you decide to stop running from challenges and start facing them head-on, you are forging an unbreakable mind. Self-discipline is another critical component. The weak self gives in to temptation easily, while the strong self practices control. A Stoic does not eat for pleasure, but for sustenance. They do not exercise for vanity, but for strength. They do not read for entertainment, but for wisdom. Every action must be purposeful, every decision aligned with a greater goal. The key is to train the mind to resist fleeting desires in favor of long-term fulfillment. Finally, the Stoic mindset is built upon the ability to accept what is beyond your control. Epictetus taught that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. By focusing only on what we can change, our own thoughts and actions, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and anxiety. The world will test you, obstacles will arise, but a Stoic sees them as opportunities to grow. When you cultivate this mindset, you become unstoppable. You no longer react emotionally, you respond with wisdom and strength. That is the true essence of an unbreakable Stoic mindset. Chapter 4. Execution. Living as your true self. Building an unbreakable mindset is only the foundation. True transformation comes when you take that mindset and apply it in your daily life with relentless consistency. It is not enough to understand Stoic principles, you must live them. The weak self survives in inaction, but the strong self emerges when thought turns into disciplined execution. This is the stage where excuses are buried, where action becomes second nature, and where every decision aligns with the highest version of yourself. Living as your true self means approaching every day with intention. Seneca taught that life is wasted when we drift through it without purpose. To ensure you are actively shaping your destiny, begin each morning with a clear plan. Define your priorities, establish your non-negotiable habits, and eliminate distractions that serve no real purpose. Your focus must be laser-sharp, directed only toward what truly matters. The strong self does not entertain procrastination. It does not waver in the face of discomfort. It recognizes that real growth happens when you push yourself beyond convenience and into challenge. Discipline must be cultivated like a muscle. It is not an innate trait, but something that strengthens with repetition. A Stoic warrior does not allow fleeting emotions to dictate behavior. If your feelings determine your actions, you are still ruled by the weak self. Instead, cultivate the ability to act in accordance with reason and virtue, regardless of how you feel in the moment. This means training your body and mind daily, waking up early, exercising, studying, and pursuing excellence in all endeavors. Each small act of discipline compounds over time, building an unstoppable force within you. The path of execution also requires resilience in the face of setbacks. Life will challenge you, people will doubt you, and failures will test your resolve. But the Stoics understood that adversity is the ultimate teacher. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that every obstacle is an opportunity. When things do not go as planned, do not retreat into the weak self. Instead, embrace hardship as training, as a necessary forge that strengthens your character. Accountability is another key to execution. The strong self does not make excuses. It owns every decision, every success, and every failure. Keep a journal where you track your daily progress. Reflect on what you did well and where you fell short. Be brutally honest with yourself. Are you living according to your highest values, or are you still allowing the weak self to take control? Seneca advised reflecting at the end of each day, asking, "What did I do wrong? What did I do right? What can I do better tomorrow?" This practice ensures that your growth is intentional and continuous. Ultimately, execution is about taking full ownership of your life. It is about stepping into the person you were meant to be, without hesitation, without compromise. The strong self does not wait for perfect conditions. It creates them. It does not fear failure. It learns from it. It does not rely on motivation. It relies on discipline. You must decide every single day that you will act in alignment with your highest self. You must show up, commit, and execute relentlessly. The transformation is not in grand moments, but in the small, consistent actions taken daily. The weak self will try to resist, but with unwavering execution, it will fade into nothingness. Your true self is waiting. The only question that remains, will you rise and take it? Chapter 5. Step up or step aside. There is no middle ground in the pursuit of excellence. Either you step up and claim your full potential, or you step aside and let mediocrity take over. This is a daily battle, one that demands unwavering commitment, discipline, and self-awareness. The Stoics understood that greatness is not reserved for a select few, but is available to anyone who is willing to cultivate it through deliberate effort. To step up means to embrace challenges, instead of avoiding them. It means choosing resilience over resignation, discipline over indulgence, and action over excuses. It requires a mindset shift, seeing hardship not as an obstacle, but as a training ground. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you internalize this truth, you stop waiting for circumstances to be ideal. You take control, adapt, and press forward regardless of conditions. True strength is forged in discomfort. The more you expose yourself to difficulty, the more resilient you become. Voluntary hardship, fasting, waking up early, embracing solitude, conditions the mind and body to thrive under pressure. Every time you push beyond your perceived limits, you expand your capacity for growth. The weak self fears discomfort. The strong self seeks it out, knowing that adversity breeds excellence. Your environment plays a crucial role in determining whether you step up or step aside. Surround yourself with individuals who challenge you, who inspire you to be better, and who refuse to tolerate mediocrity. Seneca advised choosing friends who embody the values you strive for, because their influence will shape your own path. Remove toxic influences, negative mindsets, time-wasting distractions, and anything that pulls you away from your higher self. Ultimately, stepping up is about owning your life completely. No more waiting, no more excuses. Every day, you have the opportunity to rise above your past limitations and build the future you desire. The choice is yours. Will you answer the call to greatness, or will you let another day slip by unclaimed? The weak self is persistent, but so are you. This journey is not about reaching a final destination. It is about continuous evolution. The path of self-mastery never ends. It only deepens. Every day presents a new opportunity to refine your discipline, strengthen your resolve, and elevate your life. The Stoics taught that a life of virtue and excellence is not given. It is earned through daily effort. As you move forward, remember that every choice you make either builds your strength or feeds your weakness. Be mindful, be intentional, and never settle for less than your best. This is not just about you. As you grow, you will inspire others to do the same. By embodying resilience, wisdom, and discipline, you become a living example of what is possible. You lead not by words, but by action. So now, the challenge is yours. Will you rise each morning with purpose? Will you push through discomfort and claim the life you deserve? Or will you let the weak self linger a moment longer? The choice is in your hands. Your future is waiting. Step forward and take it.